Hey, I'm Jeffrey Berry with Tennessee Environmental Council, and I'm here today at a pollinator garden that we planted back in November of 2020, not so long ago. And I'm here today to show you what to do, how to take care of this garden in the off season, and then how to get it ready for the next planting season. This garden is just as important ecologically speaking right now in the middle of winter when it's dormant as it is during the summertime when it's in full bloom. And I'm going to show you why in a little bit. But first I want to give you a little backstory about this garden because it's a really beautiful thing how it unfolded, and I consider it a miracle. It's an amazing story. It's only 50 square feet, so it's not a huge garden. Actually, it was like 37 square feet. But we carved it by hand using shovels. And our goal was to plant a monarch garden. Monarch butterflies have been declining for decades, and we wanted to do something to support the monarch butterflies. So we planted this garden with plants that attract monarchs, that feed the monarchs, and give them a place to lay their eggs, become caterpillars, and turn into butterflies. So back in November 2020, we carved this out of the ground right here. We got it on video. We removed the sod and the grass and all the weed seeds and the seeds that we didn't want. We replaced it with some nice topsoil. We put our monarch butterfly flower garden mix there. And then a few months later, in May, it had bloomed and it was filled with purple flowers and red clover. And then a few months later in the middle of summer, this is what it looked like. And then in late summer, early fall, that's when the magic happened. I came out here and looked closely and I found this. A monarch caterpillar. The garden had served its purpose, and just a couple weeks later, we saw the monarch butterflies emerge. That was amazing to see. I was thrilled to see that this garden that we planted to support the monarch butterflies was serving its purpose, and we had beautiful butterflies being born right here in this little garden. Now you can do that too by going to our website and ordering your seeds and registering for our program. And you can plant a monarch butterfly mix or a southern conservation mix or a southern bee and butterfly mix or a honeybee mix. Or you can try all four of them, but we want you to plant your garden. Now is the best time to actually plant your garden, between now and the spring, for year-round habitat. And the way our program works is you register for the program, you get your seeds, you plant your garden following our instructions, you register the size of your garden, how big of a plot you want to make, and we track that across Tennessee. We got people participating all across Tennessee. We got hundreds of gardens, several acres now of pollinator habitat that has been established. So we want to add your garden to that mix. Even if you have a garden already, you can register it and add the square footage to our statewide total. The reason why this garden is so important in the off season, in the winter time when everything is dormant, is because the butterflies and the moths and the bees and the insects, they will actually insert their eggs into the stems. So we want to leave the stems, we leave the underbrush and the leaves on the ground. And so all these stems and the leaves and the vegetation close to the ground provide habitat for the eggs of the insects. So this is actually a habitat right now. And in late winter, early spring, as soon as it warms up, a lot of those eggs will hatch and those insects will become viable again. And so the cycle continues. That's why these are year-round habitats. And I'm going to show you now how to carve around the edges, because what happens is over time the weeds will start to grow back in, the grass from the surrounding lawn. And so I'm going to carve around the edges just to clean it up a little bit so it doesn't get overtaken with weeds. And we're going to save the sod, we're going to put it in the wheelbarrow, and we're going to remove it to another part of the yard. I'll show that later. If you follow our instructions, we have designed these gardens for best results. So if you do it the way we've recommended, weeds will ultimately not be much of an issue, and they will require very little maintenance. So I've been digging for about 15 minutes and I'll be done. You don't have to reseed this garden. The seeds from the plants that grew here will reseed themselves, but this should be pretty self-sufficient with just a little bit of cleaning up around the edges once a year. More and more of this lawn is going to become this pollinator habitat, because lawns are really not habitat. They're very low on the ecological health scale, whereas this garden has deeper roots, so that's better for the soil. The native insects will rely and benefit from these plants. The lawn does not do that for our insects, so the more lawn we can replace, the better. I will put up a short fence about this high just to keep the rabbits, the deers, the cats out of here, and that's the only protection it will need. This garden is now ready for spring and the coming growing season, and I'm excited. Now nature will take care of the rest, and that's how this works. If you plant the gardens the way we recommend, you just leave it and let it grow, and you get to enjoy the beautiful blooms all summer long as the butterflies and the little native bees come around and make use of the garden that you planted. So we look forward to seeing your garden. And if you do want a quick recap on how to dig your garden, let me just do a quick walkthrough of that. Step 1, dig the plot in your yard. We recommend 50 square feet at a minimum. Step 2, remove the grass and the sod and all the weeds and their seeds. Step 3, put the sod somewhere in your yard in a corner next to the fence. Allow it to decompose. Step 4, add soil. If you don't add soil, it'll probably still grow, but the soil will help. Step 5, order seeds from tectn.org/generate-some-buzz. Step 6, spread seeds in your garden and gently rake. Step 7, protect your garden with a small fence. Chicken wire should do the job. Step 8, you let nature do the rest. But we do want you to register your garden at our website, Generate Some Buzz, and post pictures as it grows through the seasons. Thank you for joining us. I look forward to seeing your pictures of your garden as you plant it and as it grows throughout the seasons. Post your photos on our Facebook group, Generate Some Buzz. Now I'm going to go find a place in the corner for my sod.